Live. All right. Shalom. Shalom.
Um,
Back at it with another first four. Like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh,
Yahusha,
Yahweh,
Yahusha,
Rakah,
Rakah, Wadah.
double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, that we will peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom and above all. Back at it with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Lord, through this video is edifying. I got the beloved brother with me. And we're back at it with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And we just can get right into it, man. All right. So, without further ado, you want to kick off with the first precept, Babu Shah?
Right. This is. Bear with me. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, starting at verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
There you have it. Okay. So the Lord is coming with fire, man. All right. The Lord is coming with fire, man. And that fire ultimately is the fire from the chariots, okay? And also the fire from the missiles, okay? Because the chariots within themselves are a fire or a flaming fire, okay? And also the missiles, of course, are fire as well. But the chariots can shoot out fire too, right? If you got anything, feel free to grab it. But I was gonna get something really quick.
Yeah. Well, hold on, 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Ezekiel chapter 1, starting at verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. All right, that whirlwind, like we read in Isaiah 66 and 15, with the chariots like a whirlwind. That whirlwind represents the chariots. Okay, it says a great cloud. Why also it doesn't say a cloud? Because the chariots can take on the form of a cloud, but they also can take on the form of a fire. Let's get the precept on that. This is Exodus 13, starting at verse 21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, and to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, and to give them light to go by day and night. All right. It says he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. So that was referring to the chariots, man. Okay, the chariots can take on the form of a cloud, but they can also take on the form of a pillar of a fire. All right, and I believe the lady's name is Gina Marie. The Lord, I guess, anointed. Yeah, I guess you could say anointed. But the Lord anointed her with, the lot of going into the chariots. She has a lot of resources and stuff like that where she can really get in depth into the chariots and get a further look better than a lot of us can. And I remember one of her videos, she had it to where she showed the chariot, how the chariots like themselves can drip off plasma, if you will, and plasma is a key ingredient in making fire. This is Psalms 104, starting at verse 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Okay, say maketh the clouds his chariot. Chariot meaning vehicles. It says, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels ministers. It's like who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers, a flaming fire. So that's the point on that right there, man. The angels, their spirits is like a flame, just like our spirit is like a flame. But as well, all right, the point being what? The chariots can take on the form of a fire, man. All right. And a cloud, and there's a lot more precepts that you can get to back that up. But, for the sake of the lesson, keep that in mind. All right. This is Ezekiel chapter 1, starting at verse 4. I'll read it again. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind, which represent the chariots, came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself. All right. So just like you ever seen that movie, I believe the movie was Independence Day, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to go ahead and pull up a quick picture if I can. All right.
I'm back.
So, yep. I'm gonna go ahead and put this picture really quick. But let me go ahead and pull up this picture really quick. This is gonna show you when it says a fire enfolding within itself. With the chairs, they have, like I said, they're able to drip off plasma as well, you know. And that lady Gina Marie, she went into that. All right, the Lord put the spirit on her to bring that out. But as well, I believe the movie is Independence Day. Oh, call Laim La Yahweh Shah. It's crazy because when you look at the top, it says image. What does it say? 441 144. And this is going to be the salvation of the 144,000. These chariots. All right, this is the salvation of the elect right here, man. All right. And if you want to chime in at any time, Mark, you can go ahead and chime in, you know. But yeah, as you can see, look, you see the cloud unfolding around it. But as you can see, here it is. It's the cloud and it's fire. Okay. So that's the fire enfolding within itself. It's ultimately representing the chariot. Okay. You look at these pictures, these ancient pictures, if you will, you know, they look like fire. It looks like fire. This right here, this looks like fire. When you zoom in down to it. All right. And this over here looks like fire. All right. But when you come in on a closer look, you look at it here, you know, it looks like fire around the chariot, man. And when you go outside and you go look at a chariot in the sky, it looks like a star, you know, and stars is a gas, all right, a gas of fire, if you will, you know, just like the sun. The sun is a star, you know, but the point being, the chariot can take on the form of a cloud. They can also take on the form of a pillar of a fire, you know, but these are what you call the so-called UFOs. All right, they have multi purposes, if you will, man. All right, I can't sit here and tell you every last thing the chariots can do, but just to list a few, you know, like we already did already, they can take on the form of a cloud, they can take on the form of a pillar of fire, or they could look like a star, if you will, from a distance. All right, they can also change shapes and sizes. All right, you have some chairs that are shaped like cubes. You got some chairs that are cigar shaped. You got some chariots that are, you know, shaped like a roll, if you will. You got some chariots that are circular, you know. And then also, the chariots can shoot out laser beams. They can shoot out a tractor beam to beam people up. Okay. As a matter of fact, since I said that, if you don't mind, you mind grabbing Matthew, Acts chapter 1, Baba Kasha?
Just thinking about that.
That's the spirit. All right. You know, the chariots can go faster than the speed of sound, go faster than the speed of light. You know, they can travel at thousands of miles per hour. They have the ability to travel between the spirit realm and the physical realm. You know, they can cloak themselves. They can do all that. You know, now can I say they have loud surround systems? Okay, because you know, the scripture talk about how in Matthew the 17th chapter, how that they heard an exceeding voice coming from the cloud. And it was the Heavenly Father talking through the speaker system of the chariot saying, "This is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased." You know, the chariots can change multiple colors, all that, you know. I'm not going to really go deep into that. You know what I'm saying? I'll just listen to a few things, you know.
Add that scripture. Acts chapter 1, starting at verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
He's taken up in the cloud, meaning he got beamed up in the chariot, man. He got beamed up in the chariot.
A quick precept to go with that.
You got it?
Psalm chapter 104, verse 3. Who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot,
right,
walketh upon the wings of the wind.
Right.
So clouds in the Bible sometimes are metaphor for the chariots.
Exactly. You know, so that's the spirit right there, because I brought that one out earlier. So you see how the spirit works, you know. But nevertheless, you know, that's the point on that right there, man. Okay. The point being, the Lord is coming back with fire. You got it, Doc.
Okay. You read the other precepts?
Now you can get the next one.
I mean, you know, the ones we had listed.
Yeah, Con. You got it.
You read them?
Yeah, you got it. You can read it, Baba Kashaw.
What's the next one?
Should be on the private chat.
Con. I just didn't know we had gone through them already.
Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, Baba Kashaw.
Habakkuk chapter 3, starting in verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand.
So I can start from the top, Baba Kashaw.
Habakkuk chapter 3, starting in verse 1. And it says, a prayer of Habakkuk the prophet upon Shigionoth. O Yahweh, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Yahweh, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years make known. In wrath remember mercy. Verse 3. Power came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Salah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise.
Right, talking about the Lord coming with the chariots, you know, and this also happened when the Lord. You can also link this up with Deuteronomy 33. Okay, you got it, Baba Kashaw.
Verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand.
He had horns coming out of his hand. Now let's go into the blue letter of that word horn. Okay, go into that real quick. Go to the book of Habakkuk. All right, Habakkuk 3 and verse 4, it says, and his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. So let's go into that word horns real quick. The word horns right there is Quran. All right, Qua, Ra, and then this is a Na, but without the extra sound cut off, if you will. All right, Quran. All right, and it says horn. I'm gonna skip to the point. It says of rays of light. Okay, of rays of light. And you skip down, it says a ray of light. So what's that going into? It's going into the laser beams that come from the chariots. The chariots have the form to take on a laser beam. All right. You know, they can shoot out laser beams. You know, that's what I meant to say. But that's the point right there, man. He had horns coming out of his hand. Okay. And that's a part of the Lord coming back with fire. You know, this is a part of the Lord coming back with fire. But you keep reading, Baba Kashaw.
Verse Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 5. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet.
The pestilence and burning coals went forth at his feet. Let's go ahead and get the precepts on that real quick. I'm going to turn to the book of Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 9, starting at verse 14. It says, and the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrows shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord shall blow the trumpet and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. This is talking about the Lord coming back with the chariots, and it says his arrows shall go forth as the lightning. All right, now the missiles are likened unto arrows as well, but this is referring to the laser beams coming out the chariots, because the chariots can shoot out laser beams like lightning. All right, and I actually have a picture like that. Lord willing, I'll be able to find it, you know. But without further ado, I'm going to keep reading. If the Most High will, though, I'll find that picture. I got a few pictures that I want to show, you know, to help edify, if you will. But I'm going to keep reading. It said, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. Just like how we read how the Lord's coming back with his chariots like a fire, you know, and like a whirlwind, roughly paraphrasing. All right. And it says, the Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like the bowls of the altar. They shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. It says, And the Lord their power shall save them in that day as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown lifted up as an ensign upon his land. All right, then that's going into the lights of the chariots, but that's also going into how the Lord's going to come and gather his elect, man. All right, but the point being what? You know, we talk about the going back to Habakkuk 3 and verse 5. It says, before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. That's talking about the laser beams, man, getting shot out the chariots. I also want to get another one real quick. This is Wisdom of Solomon, and this will touch on the lightning point too. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, starting at verse 20. Actually, I said at verse 21. It says, then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds as a well-drawn bow, they shall fly to the mark, or what does it say? Flee. They shall flee to the mark. I got a 1611. It looks like it says fly though. Nevertheless, it says, and hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone bow, going into the missiles. Okay, a stone bow. All right. The scriptures talk about the iron. He shall flee from the iron weapon. The bow of steel shall drive him through. Paraphrasing. That's talking about the missiles. So this precept right here is going into the missiles and the chariots, man. And that's a part of the Lord coming back with fire. All right. Read that again. It says, and hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. It says, yeah, a mighty wind shall stand up against them. You mind getting Jeremiah 51 for me, Baba Kashaw? Start from the top. Let's go into that mighty wind, because this is all a part of the Lord coming back with fire, man.
All right. Jeremiah 51, starting in verse 1. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind.
Right. A destroying wind. That's the nuclear wind from the missiles.
Keep going.
Yeah, y'all more on that, Baba Kashaw?
And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about.
Right. Okay. Baba Kashaw, get Revelation 7 for me, Baba Kashaw. Right? Because we're going to get into that destroying wind a little bit.
Revelation chapter 7, starting in verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Right. And that's talking about the nuclear destruction. Okay. Right now you have angels holding back that nuclear destruction. And how do they do so? By working on the minds of the kings of the east to not push that button. You know? So you got it up.
Keep reading.
Yeah,
Verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having a seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads.
Right. So ultimately, the nuclear destruction is not going to come down until the elect are sealed. Okay. Now, if you can receive it, the elect have been sealed since the foundation of the world. Ultimately, meaning that whoever's of the elect is of the elect. There is no, musical chairs in this thing. All right. If you're of the elect, you are always of the elect since the foundation of the world. But nevertheless, it's saying like sealed as in, the elect have been sealed as in, all right, it's been played out, or it's been fulfilled. Okay, all the men of the Lord who are to men, women, and children, if you will, who are to be sealed, who are to be fulfilled, to be of the elect. They've came into the full, serving Yahweh Bashim Yashai. You know what I'm saying? It's time for them to, get saved, if you will, man. So the nuclear destruction is not going to come until all the elect are sealed, The scriptures talk about you're going to have certain men get saved in the 11th hour, So you might have, you will have some people who wake up to the truth in the midst of Jacob's trouble,
Right.
If you got it.
I'll just read one more verse right there. It's Revelation chapter 7, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Right. Okay. There you go. Going back to that elect. Now I got some pictures real quick that I want to show. All right. Just for edification. Okay. Here it is. You know, this is the form of a cloud, you know, but you can see it kind of has that UFO shape, you know, and you see the lightning get shot out, you know. Now, is this picture, you know, some people might say, oh, that picture's fake, da 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 da. Never know. Could be, could not be, but it still shows a likeness of what the scriptures talk about. And that's the main point. You know what I'm saying? And then you have another picture right here, which is funny because you know, this is off the social media. It says, me, this is a meme. It says, me 2020 sucks. It possibly can't get worse. And this was early during the time of coronavirus and stuff like that. It says April, you know, and you see the chariots. And that's what's been happening though. You know, you've been seeing a lot of chariot sightings, you know, come out this year alone. You know what I'm saying? But the point being, you see the chariot in the likeness of a cloud, you know, in the midst of clouds. That's the reason why I brought this out. Okay, this links up with the scriptures, you know. And this picture right here, you know, this is some artwork by the brethren, you know. Hey, here it is. You got the Lord. The scripture say the Lord is a consuming fire. You know, this is the chariots. You got the chariot laser beams, okay, and then you got the nuclear missiles. You know, and that's the fire that's coming to Babylon, man. The Lord is coming back with fire, man. You know, and that's really the reason why I'm bringing all this out, man. You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that off. Well, let's go back to Habakkuk. Matter of fact, I was holding Wisdom of Solomon. Let me go back to Wisdom of Solomon real quick. Finish off with that. But yeah, you can meet me at Habakkuk. I'm gonna finish off on this Wisdom of Solomon. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5, starting at verse 22. I'll read it again. It says, "And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone bow, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them, and like a storm shall blow them away." And we already brought out what that mighty wind is. All right. It says, "Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty." Okay. That's Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter right there. So that's going into destruction from the chariots and from the nuclear missiles. Okay. All right. So let's go back to Habakkuk, Bob Shaw.
Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 6. Oh, well, that was that.
You can keep reading, Bob Shaw.
Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 6. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting.
Yeah, because the Lord's coming back to take down these nations, man. Take down these mountains, these governments. Okay. Okay. You can keep reading, Bob Shaw.
I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. Was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation?
Right. So this is the Lord coming back in the chariots to do work, to do damage, man. And the damage is going to be so bad that a lot of things are going to catch hell. The beast, the people, the waters, the trees. Like I said, hurt not any tree, roughly paraphrasing, you know, because the missiles, they're gonna dry up the water out of this place, man. It's gonna be a desert land, you know. The missiles are gonna dry out the water, and the chariots, they have the capability to make fire that hot to dry up water, man. It's gonna be a desert land. All right. Like it says, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and and thy chariots of salvation. That's talking about the chariots, man, the so-called UFOs. You got from that?
I got the next scripture.
John.
Psalm chapter 8.
Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading, Baba Shah. On Habakkuk, because this right here got some good points.
Habakkuk chapter 3, starting verse 9. Thy bow was made quite naked, according to the oaths of the tribes, even thy word, Salah. Thou didst cleave the earth with rivers.
All right. Salaki, you got that?
Keep reading.
Baba Shah.
The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear.
Going into the missiles, man. Okay, you got it.
Thou didst march through the land in indignation. Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of thy people, even for salvation with thine anointed. Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked, by discovering the foundation unto the neck. Salah.
Right. The Lord's coming back to do judgment, to do justice, man. Okay, he's coming back to take you heathen nations down. He's coming back to take Esau out. That's why it says, "Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked, by discovering the foundation unto the neck." The Lord's gonna destroy you devils, man. Okay, and he's gonna take out you elites. Okay, because you ultimately are the head of the wicked. You know, you are the chief people out of the tribes of Edom. You know, keep reading Bible Shaw.
Verse 14. Thou didst strike through with his staves the head of his villages. They came out as a whirlwind and scattered me. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. Thou
Right,
didst walk.
that's the point. The Lord's gonna destroy you devils, man. Okay, he's gonna destroy your land too. Keep reading Bible Shaw.
Thou didst walk through the sea with thine horses, through the heap of great waters. And I heard my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice, rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble.
That I might rest, Salakia, that I might rest in the day of trouble. Lord willing, we fulfill that lot. We want to be at rest in the day of trouble, because ultimately those who aren't right with Yahweh Shem Shai, they're not going to be at rest in the day of trouble. But the Lord's elect will, because we'll ultimately be in rest with Yahweh Shem Shai, because we labored, like Yahweh Shai said, come unto me, all you that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You know what I mean? Keep reading Bible, John.
When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops.
Right. That's the point, man. Okay. So the Lord is coming back in the midst of World War III, and them chariots are coming back to wage war on you nations. Okay. And also the missiles are coming too. And America's going to be destroyed in the midst of World War III. All right. But nevertheless, the point was made on that. Okay. Bible, can you get Psalms 18?
Yeah.
And then this actually go with the scripture about the coals.
Yeah, this is Psalm 18, starting at verse 1. I will love thee, O Yahweh, my strength. Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my power, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, in my high tower. I will call upon Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, and cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled, the foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken, because he was wroth.
And that's what's going to happen, Salakia. That's what's going to happen in this upcoming judgment. The Lord is going to shake the earth, man. Okay, them missiles, along with the chariots, they're going to shake the earth, man. That's why the scriptures talk about in Revelation, the great earthquake. You got that. Verse 8.
There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind.
The Lord's coming back with his chariots, man. All right. And that smoke and that nostril and that fire out of his mouth, that's going into them laser beams, man. Because in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, it goes into that. Lord willing, we'll get that next.
Verse 11. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed by, hailstones and coals of fire.
Going into the missiles, because the missiles are likened unto hail. You got that?
Verse 13, Yahweh also thundered in the heavens, in the highest gave his voice, hailstones, coals of fire. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them.
The laser beams, Salakia, the laser beams and the missiles. That's what that's going into. Those lightnings represent the laser beams from the chariots, and the arrows represent the missiles. Okay. You can keep reading all the way down to 20, Baba Shah.
Verse 15. Then the channels of water were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Yahweh, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters.
Salakia, I got a quick precept. This is 2nd Maccabees chapter 10, starting at verse 29. But when the battle waxed strong, there appeared unto the enemies from heaven 5 comely men upon horses with bridles of gold, and 2 of them led the Jews. Okay, talking about the angels coming in the chariots. Man. Those horses represent the chariots. The comely men upon the horses represent the angels. It says, verse 30, and took Maccabeus, and it said they had bridles of gold, okay, because the chariots, they can come in the form of gold, okay, they can come in the form of silver. You know, you can link that up with Psalm 68 and 13. Though you have lying among the pots. You mind getting that from me, Baba? Psalm 68 and 13, just for edification's sake.
I don't think it's Psalm 16.
68. Psalm 68 and 13.
Psalm chapter 68, verse 13. Though ye have lying among the pots, yet shall ye be as the wings of a dove covered with silver, and have feathers with yellow gold.
Right. The wings of a dove going into the chariots, man. All right, but this is 2nd Maccabees 10, starting at verse 29. Read it again. Or no, yeah, I'll read it again. But when the battle waxed strong, there appeared unto the enemies from heaven 5 comely men upon horses with bridles of gold, and 2 of them led the Jews, and took Maccabeus betwixt them, and covered him on every side with their weapons, and kept him safe, but shot arrows and lightnings against the enemies, meaning the chariots were shooting. The chariots were out there in the midst of the battle, in the midst of the battle in the time of the Maccabees, you know, in a certain battle, and they were shooting out laser beams, man, against the enemies, man, of the Jews. Okay, so that's what's coming again, you know. That's what's coming again. The chariots are coming back to shoot out that fire and them laser beams, man. All right, verse 30. I'll read it again. And took Maccabeus betwixt them, and covered him on every side with their weapons, and kept him safe, but shot arrows and lightnings against the enemies, so that being confounded with blindness and full of trouble, they were killed. And they were slain of footmen 20,000, and 500, and 600 horsemen. You know, so that's the point of that right there. All right, that's divine intervention for you. And guess what? You might even see something like that in the times of Jacob's trouble. The battle might be hot. You know, you might be trying to run away, you know, in the midst of martial law. You got a shootout, you know, Jake shooting at martial law troops shooting back at Jake. You might be in the crossfires. The chariots might come through and just zap all them niggas, man. So you could just get through, you know. You never know, man. We should expect miracles in these upcoming times. But you got that. Back at Psalms 18 and verse 14 again. You mind reading that again, Baba Shaw?
Psalm 18 and 14. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them. He shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Yahweh, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils.
Going back to when we read about Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, was thine anger against the waters? You know, because hey, the Lord's going to dry up these waters too. All right, and that goes to show you how hot the laser beams can get. You know.
Verse 16. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but Yahweh was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me.
That's the point. And that's what's going to come to the same men who are given the sure mercies of David. Those of the house of David, they're going to get that same type of mercy and divine intervention, you know. Now, some brothers are going to have to die, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know, that doesn't mean that the Lord still won't protect them leading up to that point, you know. But we can move on to the next precept. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, Baba Shah, 13th chapter. And then we'll start from the top and then we'll skip around.
Second Ezra chapter 13, starting at verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that had moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
That's talking about Yahweh Shai. The thousands of heaven represent Yahweh Shai coming back with the angels. Okay. And when Yahweh Shai comes back, he says, all things trembled that seen under him, you know, because you people are, hey, we're going to even be a little afraid in that day, too, you know, because the scriptures talk about how the remnant were afraid, were affrighted, roughly paraphrasing. That's in the book of Revelation, you know, but we're going to have a form of confidence. The Lord willing, we be a part of that number. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, when Yahweh Shai comes back, he's coming back dreadful with the big fathership that's going to cover the whole face of the earth, man. That's why the scriptures say every eye shall see him, you know. But you got that.
So in verse 13:4, whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as earth faileth when it feeleth the fire.
That's talking about the laser beams, the chariot laser beams. Okay. And matter of fact, let me get this real quick, because like I said, going back to the title of the lesson, the Lord's coming with fire, right? This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Or let me see. I think it might be chapter 1. Woo, let me get this real quick. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, talking about Esau, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. All right, and that's what he's being consumed with these words, man, the scriptures. But he's gonna literally be consumed with the spirit of the Lord's mouth by way of them laser beams, you know. Verse it says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. The brightness of his coming is talking about the Lord coming back with them chariots. But now I'm gonna go back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, starting at verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you, and to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahweh Shai shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels and flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So that's the point on that right there. He's coming back with flaming fire. You got it, huh?
Second Ezra 13 and continuing Second Ezra. So this is Second Ezra chapter 13 and verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number, from the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And I might add real quick. Let's talk. Let's talking about these nations coming together to fight Yahweh Shai when he comes back. Because and I think it was one American president I think said. I think it was an American president, but he said, "Would not we all come together and fight this out of space?" Esau, no. Esau, no.
I believe
But
it was Ronald Reagan, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think it was Ronald Reagan. But one U.S. president was basically talking about wouldn't all it basically one U.S. president was talking about if there was a force that came from outer space, to come fight against people on Earth. Um, if it was Ronald Reagan or one U.S. president has said, wouldn't we all? Because when all he was talking about is talking about worldly people. He ain't talking about the elect, 144,000 because they looking for Yahweh Shah to come back. But the rest of the people on the earth, basically, just I'm adding that in there so you can understand.
I got the
But
quote.
go ahead.
This is I got this off of I just looked it up on Google, Ronald Reagan UFO quote, and it says it's a lot. Bear with me. It says 30 years earlier in his address to the United Nations General Assembly in 1987, President Ronald Reagan says, "I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside of this world." That's the point.
Yep. But let me continue. 2 Ezra 13 and verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Mountain being a chariot. That because the chariot was big like that. Verse 7. But I
Right.
would not have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So all these people that were gathered together, or are going to gather together to fight Yahweh Shah, they're going to be sore afraid, but they're still going to fight. Verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth being a chariot, as there had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Verse 11, and they were all mixed together. And I was going to go on what was mixed together, because I'm saying it because when I read this, first, I didn't understand it, but I heard a breakdown on it. I thought it was talking about different things, but these things were mixed together. It's going to tell you. It says the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. So all of that was mixed together. So that's the laser beam right there. It fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. And that's yet to come. That's a prophecy that is yet to come.
Right.
So these people thinking 2020 is bad. They think people think 2020 is bad, man. If worldly people, hey man, they got a whole other thing coming. You know, because they see the chariots, in the distance, but wait till the chariots get up close and start putting action on them. All right, when they start literally when the chariots start open firing on these people. And I said, but fire meaning laser beams. Fire, man. Fire, fire, fire.
Yep.
As Apostle Gabar said, more fire. Basically.
God. Hey, skip down, Baba Kasha. Skip down to 25, Baba Kasha.
All right. 2 Ezra 13 and 25. This is the meaning of the vision.
Matter of fact, start at verse 23.
He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty.
That's the point. So the ones that are going to be saved are the ones that are saved by their works and by their faith, man. Okay, you got that?
Verse 24. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom Yahweh the Highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. And whereas thou sawest, out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
Yeah, because when Yahushua comes back in the chariots, it's going to be an astonishment. That's why the scriptures talk about the strangeness of our salvation. Lord willing, we be those men.
And okay. 1 verse 31. And one shall.
Yeah. So like you. Also, he's going to be an astonishment because when he comes back, they're not going to be expecting a so-called black man, coming out them ships. They're going to be expecting Chezi, So that's another reason why it's going to be an astonishment. And I actually got a precept to back that up. This is Isaiah 52 and verse 15. It says, so shall he sprinkle many nations. The king shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. All right, they're going to see and consider the true image of Yahushua, okay? Because they haven't been told the true image of Yahushua. They've been told the image of Cesare Borgia. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show this real quick for edification's sake. You can actually look up this video possibly, but when you zoom in right here, it says Black Angels seen by NASA scientists. I believe his name is Norman Bergrun or Hergrun. Okay. When you watch the video, the lady was talking to him. She was interviewing him. And he said when he saw the angels come out the ships, he said they were black. Like that's how he said it. They were black. Because he was surprised. This devil was truly shocked. Matter of fact, you know what? I might look it up, Lord willing. But this devil was truly shocked of how the angels looked like. Well, you got that out.
What, you want me to keep reading?
Yeah, Bob.
All right. 2 Ezra 13 and 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I have showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. When all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion. And Zion shall come, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto fire.
Right. Salakia, you got that.
Keep reading.
Nah, that's the point. That's going into how the Lord is coming back with the fire from the chariots. All right, the laser beams. Now I got the clip, the Wadi Habashim El Shai. Esau was low-key hot in this one, but the Lord put the spirit on this brother to bring it out. Let me go ahead and play this real quick. Spirit, and then we could just wrap it up after this, Lord willing.
There are beings. People would have asked me, I call them vehicles. Right? I did not call them objects. That was too neuter for me.
Okay.
I had a Stanford professor say you ought to call them objects. No. They have all the qualities of a vehicle. They can move. They're just like a missile or anything like that. So that much we can say about them. For sure.
Okay.
So I'm calling them in.
Okay.
Okay, somebody comes along and says, well, where would you manufacture one that's 2.5 Earth lengths long? And that's a hard question to answer.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard. And they have a picture there of, I think it's probably like the bugs in the war. But anyway, there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off,
Not dark, black,
black skin.
really black.
Were they tall?
Yes,
Very tall.
there is one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off,
Not dark, black,
black skin.
really black.
Were they tall?
Yes, there's one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off,
Not dark, black,
black skin.
really black.
Were they tall?
Yes,
Very tall. How tall? Do you know?
well, they got out the doorway. I don't know what that is.
Well, what?
To say 7 feet would be probably conservative estimate.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Have you ever been in touch with him?
No.
No?
There is one image there that shows black people.
But the point was made, so you seen it right there. He said it. They weren't just dark, they were black. You know what I'm saying? Because the angels are dark skinned, just like the Heavenly Father and his Son are dark skinned. Okay? And if it be the Lord's will, you mind speaking for a second? Because I want to grab something real quick.
Yeah, man. Because Esau it's like Esau looks shocked, that they were dark skinned, man. Now the thing is, people think like I seen a shirt on someone, and it said they made you think European features were the epitome of beauty, because when you grow up, they got all this media and stuff like that showing you these these Edomite looking Disney princesses and this Prince Charming with a pale skin. They try to make you think looking like an Edomite is beautiful with that pasty skin and leprous hair. First that yellow hair is leprous, man. People think that having leprous hair is a beautiful thing. No, leprous hair is nasty, man. They think that pale skin is something nice. You got black women trying to bleach their skin. But the angels are dark skinned. Yahweh Shai is dark skinned. Yahweh is dark skinned. So that, hey man, Esau is a vile creature, man. Why? I mean, me. Well, let me just say it like this, man. Esau, Esau is a worthless creature, man. That pale skin, that pasty skin is not beautiful. It's, you know, the Lord having dark skin is actually, well, putting in the comparison between that and uh the skin of an Edomite. You know, dark skin would be more preferred. You know, so but the point I was trying to make is that Edomite looked surprised. Because uh because the angels look like dark skinned men. You know, and then Esau probably has it in his head that if anybody should be in outer space, they should look like Edomites. No, Esau is dead wrong. You know, Esau, man.
Yep. And
Well, that was the point right there, though. You know, Esau
Con,
looked surprised that Esau had looked surprised that the angels look dark skinned. Cause
con.
he said black. He said black. You know. So what, man? That's beautiful skin. Beautiful skin. You know.
Con, I actually got something really quick because going back to that scripture though, back in Isaiah, so shall he sprinkle many nations, and kings shall shut their mouths at him, because that which have not been told them shall they see. Roughly paraphrasing,
Mhm.
you know. But I actually have something real quick. I have a quick clip that I want to play, and Lord willing, Most High allow me, okay? Because I want to share my screen really quick. So, and then also 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 30. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Esau was shocked to see, the angels looking like dark-skinned men. When you go back to Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, it tells you how the angels have dark skin. Okay, like skin like polished brass, burned in the furnace. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into it.
That are interested in us, at least seem to show some benevolence, I think would probably step in and keep us from blowing the hell out of ourselves if it push come to shove. If we had time, I would tell you stories where they have interfered at American intercontinental ballistic missile bases, at Soviet ICBM bases, where they have made their presence known, where they have indicated subtly, overtly, scaring the hell out of these guys, that they're there and they're paying attention. Incidents happened in Soviet Union before it collapsed. Incidents happened all over the northern U.S. at ICBM bases, where they came down, hovered over the silos, and played hell with the electronics. Pictures were taken. Hundreds of witnesses watched them that are interested.
So that's the point on that right there. Okay. So the man was talking about how the chariots came down, played with the silos. That's another thing the chariots can do too. They can, you know what I'm saying, mess with the logistics of certain systems. Okay. There's a YouTube channel called the Infographic Show, and they do a lot of little skits on the chariots. And they were talking about a testimony where the Iranian, fighter jets were trying to come against the chariots, and the chariots made their systems malfunction. This guy was just talking about how the chariots hovered over the silos and played with the buttons, if you will, to mess with the electronics in the silos, man, for the missiles. So what does that go to show you? What does that go to show you? Revelation 7, where it says, hold back, that there was 4 angels holding the winds. That's biblical prophecy for you, man. Okay? The angels are the ones, through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Shai, they're the ones stopping an all-out nuclear war. Okay? Now, I also have this picture right here. This picture was a picture taken from the Redskins versus Cowboys game. I think it was the year of 2019, maybe, or 2018, one of those years. Nevertheless, here it is. You have what? You have an angel, which is just the Lord had it set up where it was just the head of the angel, appeared and you had the it shows you the woolly hair and the dark polished brass skin. You know,
That's a beautiful picture. I'm like, man.
that goes to show you, man. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in on that. All right, that's the point. That's the point. Okay, that's the point. So, yeah, that's the point on that right there. You know, point has been made, and as you can see, this isn't no phony picture because you have the Redskins do, you know, right here. You know, but you know, some people who it's not for, they're still gonna scoff and mock, say the picture's fake, whatever. You know, which there's also video proof as well. Matter of fact, but you know, I'll probably do that another. I'll probably post that up another time. Okay, which I can actually, you know what, I can post it, you know, for the sake of relevance, but you know, let me go ahead and do that. Baba Kashak, can you grab Ezekiel 1 where it talks about the likeness of the angels? You know what scripture I'm talking about, right? God. Because now we're going into a different topic, but this is all for edification, man. This is faith boosting right here.
All right, I got it.
Go ahead, Ar.
Ezekiel chapter 1, starting at verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass.
Burnished brass. There you have it. Okay. Burnished brass. If you're gonna drop that, Baba Kashak, can you get Daniel chapter 10? That precept in Daniel 10.
So Daniel chapter 10, starting at verse 5. And I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man was clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. So, you know, this man was clothed in linen, all right, and and he had a belt on, a golden belt. Verse 6: his body also was like the beryl, and his face is the appearance of lightning. That doesn't mean Yahweh Shai looked like a so-called white man. A precept to that part is Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 1.
You
Continuing on,
mind getting Ecclesiastes 8, Baba Kashak?
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 1. Who is as the wise man, who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed.
Right. And there was another example like that with Moses. When Moses was with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights on that mountain, Mount Sinai. When he came back, they had to put a veil over his face.
Right. Verse 6. Daniel chapter 10, verse 6. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire. Meaning he had red eyes. Yahushua has red eyes. And his arms and his feet like in color of polished brass. And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. So Yahushua looks like a so-called black man. You know? So do the angels. You know, and so does the Heavenly Father.
Right. Because what does scripture say? Let us make man in our image. You know, so that's the standard of beauty. Okay. The standard of beauty really is the Most High Yahweh. and his son Yahweh Shai is made in his likeness, and we're made in Yahweh Shai's likeness. You know, you mind getting matter of fact, yeah, you mind getting Revelation 1, Baba Kashan? Paul like Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
Revelation chapter 1, starting at verse 13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot. So he had a garment all reaching all the way down to his feet, and girded about the paps with a golden girdle. Once again, Yahushua had on a golden belt. Verse 14, his head and his hairs, meaning his head, on top of his head and his beard hairs, were white like wool, as white as snow. So they had woolly texture, and they were in color as the color of snow. You know, white. They were woolly texture and the color of snow was white. And it does not mean that his head is also white. It's gonna get into it. It says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. You know what I mean? He had red eyes. Scripture to go with it. This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. So there you have it. It says, verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. So his feet were like unto fine brass. Brass is already brown. If you burn it, it's going to turn even more dark. All right. So if his feet are dark, the rest of his body has to be dark. Therefore, Yahweh Shai, aka whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, looks like a so-called black man. And it says, in his voice as the sound of many waters. You know, Yahweh Shai had a loud voice.
Right. Just like a so-called black man. You know, or Israelite man, to be real with you, because Northern Kingdom got loud voices too. But nevertheless, that's the point, man. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and get the video proof now for you scoffers out there, man. And this is all for edification. I'm only playing this video up for edification and for faith boosters to the hopefully elect. You know, Lord willing, we be those men. All right.
I think the brother accidentally exited out the show. But basically, you know, the brother was about to pull up a lesson. Well, not a lesson, but a video of an angel that was, you know, at the Redskins game, and he was about to pull a video proof of it. You know, he was about to pull.
Shalom, shalom. Yeah, my computer. Right when I was about to play the clip, my computer froze. So let me get the brother. Let me get the brother back on real quick. But that goes to show you, hey, hey man, this is gonna come. Hey man, that goes to show you. But nevertheless, whether it be on the right hand side or the left hand side, Lord willing, Yahweh Shemel Shai allows this to come out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm about to get the brother back on real quick, and we'll get to it. All right, I'm waiting for the brother to get back here. I'm gonna play this clip. All right. Shalom, Akia. Yeah, let me go ahead and play this clip. Lord willing, the Most High, let it come out. If it doesn't, then hey, it's the will of the Lord. But sometimes the Most High doesn't want certain things to be revealed. That's just the plain fact of the matter. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, this is the recap of the Redskins and Cowboys game, and I'm at 56-42. And really, this video is just for you clowns out here believing that anybody would take the time to manipulate in Photoshop and place a picture of an angel at a Dallas Cowboys and Washington Redskins football game. Okay, now the my TV isn't that great, but what you will see here, I'm gonna put my finger on the screen to show you. This is exactly where the angel is, and clearly you can see everyone. This white, snow white beard and afro. Okay,
White as
we'll play a
snow.
little bit of this. So, I mean, you're not gonna be able to tell much, but you can tell this is where he scored, and this is exactly where the camera angle was. Although this version of the recording, because this is from the NFL Network, actually took out what the Fox NFL Live version would be. All right. So we're looking right here. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna leave it there as I play it. Once again, now you can almost see his head turn. Okay. And then this is just another angle, but it's not going to show the end zone, but it'll show where he stopped at. And matter of fact, let's just show this version too, okay? Because hold on. See? What do you see right here? Huh? Hold on. His head turned, okay? Let me play that one more time. Hold on, let me bring it back. Look at that. This is live. His head turned, man. Don't y'all ever make any comment regarding man of the Lord making videos claiming that someone photoshopped that picture, man. Just because you don't believe, man, don't quench anybody else's belief in Yahweh Shemel Shai.
Call life like Yahweh Shemel Shai.
Shalom.
Yeah, so there you have it right there, man.
Never make any comment.
That's the point. That's the point, man. So the point has really been made, But I'm gonna do this one more time, man, because hey, this is really beautiful, man. It really is. But let me do this one more time. And then I'm gonna let it rest.
Pardon. But it'll show where he stopped at. And matter of fact, let's just show this version too, okay? Because hold on. See? What do you see right here? Huh? Hold on. His head turned. Okay? Let me play that one more time. Hold on, let me bring it back. Look at that. This is live.
Hey, man.
His head turned, man.
And that's how you know. And that's how you know that was an angel, because when you look down at the hand that moved by the face, that hand looked like a so-called white man's hand. So here it is. You have a so-called black man's head and white hands. You know, not saying that it's not possible, but that wasn't the angel's hands, man. That was the angel appearing himself over that man sitting down. You know, if you know, but I'm not gonna play it back again. But you know, if you go back and you play it back again, you'll see it. You know what? Spirit told me to play it back again. I'm gonna play it back again. All right.
Okay?
Watch.
Let me play that one more time. Hold on, let me bring it back. Look at that.
Look at the hand that comes to the angels, like looks like it comes to the
This
angel's
is
face
live.
over here. You see?
His head turned, man. Don't y'all ever make any comment regarding. Don't quench anybody else's belief claiming that someone photoshopped that picture, man. Just because you don't believe, man, don't quench anybody else's belief in Yahweh Shemel Rashad.
Right.
Shalom.
Hey, that's the point. So, you know, hey, Lord's will. Unless matter of fact, we can actually close out with this last precept, or these last two precepts. This is Wisdom of Solomon 13 and 13. It says, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. This is talking about how, you know, men worship things of the heavens like stars, you know, fire, the sun, so on and so forth, right? So they took the beauty of those things as gods, right? It says, let them know how much better the Lord of them is, right? So the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Ashai, is way better than a star, the sun, the moon, so on and so forth, because the Lord created it, all right? It says, for the first author of beauty hath created them, all right? So the Lord is the author of beauty, okay? The Lord is the author of beauty, okay? I believe it also says in Zion, it's a perfection of beauty, okay? This is Psalm 50 and 2. It says, out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, the Most High have shined, you know? So that's the point on that right there, okay? So to have melanin and to look like a so-called black man or Israelite man, that's really the standard of beauty, okay? Like the brother was going into earlier, you know? And we're just going to get this last precept, Lord willing. You mind getting Revelation 14 and 14 from me, Baba Kashaw? And we'll close out with that, because going back to how the Lord's coming back with fire, man. All right? But, you know, the Spirit had it veer off a different direction. But that was all for the sake of edification.
Revelation chapter 14, verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, which is a chariot. And upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire.
Had power over fire, meaning the angels that had power over the four winds. Okay, that fire represents the nuclear fire. And that sharp sickle represents the Lord coming back to do judgment, to make war with his chariots. It talked about how he sat on a white cloud. That's that fathership he's coming back in.
And cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
And that's really going, you can low-key look at it twofold, but for the sake of the doctrine and the breakdown, all right, that's talking about Esau, Edom. When you can link that up with Isaiah 63, okay? You know, who is this that coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? All right. That's the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai. But also the elect are likened unto a cluster of grapes and vines, you know. But nevertheless, you'll read, when you read in context, that's really talking about Esau. Okay. You got it out.
And the angel thrusted his sickle into the earth is verse 19, and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yahweh.
That's the point. So the elect are not appointed to wrath. So that's how you know it's talking about Esau. Yahweh Shai, he's going to stomp out them grapes, as it tells you in Isaiah 63. Also Jeremiah 25. You got that up.
And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
Right. So it's going to be a lot of death and bloodshed, man. All right. So that's really the point on that right there. You know, so the Lord is coming back with fire, and with his chairs like a whirlwind, to render his anger and his rebuke with flames of fire, man. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Lord shall be many. Like it says right here, even unto the horse's bridle. Okay. So that's the point on that right there. Imagine dead bodies being stacked up as tall as a horse. You know, that's the power Yahweh Shai is coming back with, man. You know, you got any last points you want to make up?
One regarding fire.
Gone.
Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Right. We got that.
Yeah, that's the nuclear fire right there. So all those people, any person that's wicked, that's over here in America, you know, in other places people will get hit by missiles, but mainly in America, any wicked person that's still any wicked person that's here in America, by the time those nuclear missiles hit, is gonna be burned alive, man. America is where that lake of fire is gonna be at. So, you know,
Especially you,
that's not
Esau.
talking about a lake. That's not talking about an actual lake of fire. Like it's talking about it's not talking about an actual lake, like a lake of water. No, it's only a lake of fire. From the chair, it's gonna be like a whole lake of fire. So, you know, when there's people gonna be in that.
Yep, Salakia. I keep interrupting you, Salakia. Especially against you, Esau, because you knock off every trait off of verse 8. You know, you're fearful, you're unbelieving, you're abominable, you're an idolater, you're a sorcerer, you're a murderer, you're an adulterer, you're a thief, you're a liar. So your ass is definitely going in the lake of fire, man. And for you devils who escape out of the missiles, you're going to be the first ones brought up into slavery. Or the Lord might catch you with a different grievous judgment. But that's the point on that right there. You got anything else you want to say, Akia?
Yeah, Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts. They shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Right.
So that's talking about that day, the nuclear missiles coming. So there.
Yeah, that's it. The Lord's coming back with fire, man. All right. And matter of fact, keep reading Baba Kashah. Read verse 2, Baba Kashah. Because it's going to link up with Yahweh Shai coming back, you know, to gather his elect. And how is he going to do that? With the chariots. So that goes to show you the Lord coming back with the missiles and the chariots, man.
Yeah, Malachi 4:2. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith Yahweh of hosts.
Call like Yahweh Shai. So that's the point right there. The Lord's going to gather his elect with healing in his wings, meaning we're going to get new bodies. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. The Lord's going to heal us because he is the physician, and says we're going to tread down the wicked because we're going to be hunters, man. You know? So, hey, you got anything else? But that I would like to say, call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Chakadash. Devil honors the elders and apostles, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom and a Baba Ball.